Definitely. If, of course, you were, just switched off from the world yesterday and you weren't really sure what has been happening and you want to catch up, well, you will know, at least if you are a Joburg resident, that you have a new mayor. Newly elected Mayor Dada Morero of the ANC is officially being sworn in today. He was elected after DA Mayor Dr. Mpho Phalatse was removed through a motion of no confidence.
Well, a last-ditch legal bid couldn't save her from getting the boot. Morero has already vowed to improve service delivery and mitigate rolling blackouts. So let's get the latest now from our senior reporter, Aviwe Mtila. Aviwe, a very good morning to you. Certainly is going to be a very interesting day where the Johannesburg Council is concerned, as the residents of the city of Johannesburg are about to have a new mayor. What do we know so far about what is to be expected today?
Good morning, Faith. And we do know at this stage that the venue had to be changed because of the number of people that are expected to be here. We're in the council chambers now, which is a much bigger venue. And of course, some names have already been changed. Councillor Dada Morero's name is already where the former Mayor Mpho Phalatse's name would ordinarily be. That would signal the change of the mayor. In fact, after 8, we are told, then that's when we're expecting the official signing, where it will happen in the desk that you see in front of us over there, where the judge will officially swear in the new mayor, Dada Morero. Of course, those proceedings happening just yesterday, where that motion of no confidence happening, in fact, in that 9th extraordinary meeting of the city of Johannesburg, which saw then Dada Morero being officially being the new mayor. Then we're expecting today, of course, those official proceedings. We hear a number of people, even the ANC chairperson, we're told, is started to be one of those that will be here. We heard him in his acceptance speech yesterday, speaking about how the ANC apologizes for actually failing people. So we'd hope that that now that won't be the case. But of course, we're expecting that to be underway. We were told at 8 o'clock. We're already in the chambers here. So we're expecting proceedings to happen any time from now, Faith.
Aviwe, who is Dada Morero? Because you are coming in at a time where it wasn't necessarily conventional. Your predecessor was removed through a motion of no confidence. She hadn't actually even completed a full year as the executive mayor of Johannesburg. And here you are now coming in at a time where Johannesburg residents want all of their basic necessities, basic municipal necessities being provided for, being dealt with. Who is this man, and can he actually do the job? Is there a feeling in that council that this is the guy that can do what needs to be done?
So it's those promises that have already been made. We heard it in that acceptance speech even yesterday, that service delivery will be prioritized. Cleaning up the dirt around the city of Johannesburg is one of the key priorities. And the promise, of course, of energy, the crisis that we're currently in at the moment, speedily resolving it. Some of those promises that we heard amid even the financial crisis that we're in. We're told, for example, City Power owing at least 8 billion rand. And that, of course, put at the hands of the outgoing mayor in that acceptance speech. Mpho Phalatse staying in that position for at least 10 months. Dada Morero, we do know, is the regional chairperson of the African National Congress, voted in a bit earlier on in this year. Of course, now coming in at a time that really needs services for the people of Johannesburg. And we're seeing, of course, politics coming at the fore, when it's actually the people that should be at the fore, of course, of those service delivery. As you know, these political bigwigs fight it out. It's the services that are really needed on the ground that people really need.
Aviwe, as obviously the Democratic Alliance has promised not to go down without a fight, are we anticipating their members being present here today? What is the mood like? Or what are you hearing on the ground where the Democratic Alliance is concerned? I mean, right now, they've got a speaker or former speaker in the form of Vasco da Gama, who's out. Now they've got a mayor in the form of Mpho Phalatse, who is out. Must not be a very bright day for the DA today.
Not a bright day, and we saw that fight even play out yesterday, going to court, an interdict that failed, of course, but that led then to Dada Morero coming in as the new mayor who's going to be sworn in today. We're not sure if they will actually come and be part of the proceedings here as Dada Morero is sworn in behind us here, but we did hear that, of course, they won't be going down without a fight. So it's yet to be seen what's going to happen. But of course, interesting developments yesterday where we saw the Patriotic Alliance as well as the Economic Freedom Fighters vote in favor for Dada Morero and essentially the ANC to be back at the seat of power in Johannesburg. And we saw the IFP actually not taking part in those voting proceedings. And we do know the earlier happenings that happened around Johannesburg where we saw the COPE becoming the speaker, Makubela, taking charge over there. So we're not sure what's going to happen in the terms of the Democratic Alliance, but we did see them try to put up a fight ahead of the new mayor being elected yesterday and the ousting of the outgoing mayor, Mpho Phalatse, in that vote of no confidence where she lasted for 10 months as the mayor of Johannesburg.
Aviwe, we are in stage 3. We've been downgraded to stage 3. Power cuts, blackouts. That is for the weekend. We did see the president being affected by this during the week in Boksburg when he was giving a key note address, of course, at the National Local Government Summit. Can we expect the Joburg Council to not be hit? Because, it would be a little embarrassing to have the new mayor coming in and being sworn in and then there is no power. So where is the Joburg City Council, at least that area, that vicinity, sitting on the schedule?
Well, we should hope that there will be generators here, but you bring that question, a very interesting one, when there were plans, for example, from MMC Michael's son, going into December, saying that the residents of Johannesburg would see then the steady move, from the reliance on Eskom to the reliance then on city power, and of course that's at the behest of the city of Johannesburg. We don't know then what's going to happen now, given that there's a new mayor. We could possibly, of course, see a reshuffle of those MMCs. We don't know what's going to happen in those plans that the city of Johannesburg had in terms of moving away from Eskom as it was promised, because there were those problematic substations that we visited just last week where we saw even the burden of load shedding, that these substations can't take it anymore. For example, we know that they can't take on the switching on and switching off that comes with load shedding, the aging infrastructure. So we don't know the plans that are in place then, given that the ANC mayor is now back in the helm, but we do have those promises that the city in itself and electricity will be one of the priorities of the incoming mayor, Dada Morero, who is, of course, the regional chairperson of the ANC in Johannesburg.
I often wonder when it comes to these kinds of political negotiations that are underway. Now we've got yet another mayor again in the city of Johannesburg. How much of these decisions will actually translate into real value being instilled within the city? The ANC lost power within the city of Johannesburg in 2016 during the local government elections, which saw the likes of Herman Mashaba actually take over. Then we've had subsequent so many mayors who, sadly, some of them have lost their lives coming through the fold, and then now we see the removal of Mpho Phalatse. Now we're expecting another mayor, in the form of Dada Morero, and then we're expecting reshuffling, obviously, of MMCs. Aviwe, does it give these MMCs, does it give these mayors enough time to actually instill real value within the city of Johannesburg? If I'm going to be changed every 10 months, how do I guarantee that the work that I started, I'm going to actually finish it? And what does it say here about succession planning, about forward thinking, about the vision of the city of Johannesburg, especially with the chopping and the changing and the like? I wonder about, how is it that those that started the job are able to complete the job, and therefore when we say accountability, we can account on something that we can actually say you've done this or you haven't done this.
You hit the nail on the head, Faith, and you do understand that saying that says when the bulls fight, it's the grass that suffers the most. And of course, that will then translate to the people and the residents of Johannesburg as all these political ramblings are ongoing. It's them that suffer the most. We had this advent of the coalition governance coming in back in 2016 already, and we haven't had real stability in not only Johannesburg, which is, of course, where the biggest budget goes, metros, but in many of these metros, you'd go to Nelson Mandela Bay Metro, where even just weeks ago, we saw the mayor there ousted, the ANC mayor there coming in, then the DA mayor. It's not the only political battlefield that we've seen in these unstable coalition governance, where, of course, the issues on the ground don't get resolved. There isn't enough time for these mayors to actually plan out and see through their plans, as we heard, for example, the energy crisis and the MMC Michael Son suggesting that from December, then the residents of Johannesburg should be bearing the rewards of moving away from Eskom. We don't know then where that will be, given that now we're expecting even the further reshuffling of the MMCs, given that you'd expect the incoming mayor to come in with his own team. So as all these political ramblings are ongoing and the bulls are fighting it out at the top, it's the grass essentially and the residents on the ground that suffer the most.
And ANC mayor is coming in 2 months before the National Elective Conference. I know this is a coalition government, so you wouldn't exactly see this as an ANC win, because they are still responsible to Speaker, who is from COPE, and still the DA and still Action SA and all the other minority parties in there. So it's not necessarily a full-on ANC victory. But would you say, as they go into the National Elective Conference, that at least Gauteng and Johannesburg as a region will feel like they've got a one-up in this case?
A one-up indeed, hence you'd expect that even the chairman of the province of Gauteng will be part of those delegates that will be in these chambers here in support of the incoming Mayor Dada Morero as he's sworn in here. So you'd expect Panyaza Lesufi to come and back the incoming mayor and, of course, strengthen that ANC stronghold. But, of course, you do know these are times of coalition governance, which is even uncertain. We don't know if the political relationship between the EFF and the Patriotic Alliance and the ANC will be a steady one that will hold forth going into the next municipal election. So it's all dependent then on the backroom talks and what goes on behind the closed doors, because these are uncertain times. For example, the Patriotic Alliance was voting, for example, with the Democratic Alliance in Johannesburg. Then they had that fallout even in the voting of the Speaker of Johannesburg. Now we're seeing then the siding of the Patriotic Alliance moving in with the EFF as well as the African National Congress. So we never know how steady then those relations will be. And of course, the people that suffer the most will be the people on the ground.
Oh.
Yeah, Aviwe, it's definitely one of those moments where you get to wait and see. And I think more than anything else, just the residents of the city of Johannesburg are just wondering about their services. Will my services continue? Will you get the city of Johannesburg right? Will it be clean? Will it be safe? I think these are just some of the basic items that we're struggling with. But we'll leave it there for now. Aviwe Mtila, who is our senior reporter, just coming to us live there from that council ahead of the installing of the new mayor of the city of Johannesburg.